I thought the next time I'd make a video, it would be a Hasbro reveal, like an official live stream or something like Hasbro used to do. And they used to be so good with their Transformers fan streams. I loved tuning into them every time they had one. But they've really been, it feels like they've been slacking. I don't even know when the last fan stream was. But it felt like we'd get a fan stream every other month at one point, and now we haven't been getting anything. But luckily, Takara has dropped some major news. I'm not going to talk about Missing Link Grimlock. I've owned a couple so I'm way too young to be a G1 collector, a big G1 fan. I love the cartoon. I grew up watching it, but the toys were already so expensive by the time I got into collecting. The only G1 figures I was able to get were hand-me-downs from friends and family or thrift store finds, so they were never good condition. So I don't have a huge want for G1 figures. I like the Generations figures where they take the G1 design and modernize it. But that's exactly what Missing Link is doing. So I get the desire for Missing Link. I think it's a really, really cool idea, but it's also way too expensive for me. Transformers itself has gotten really expensive. Even a Titan class is getting hard to swallow. Even Commander classes. And I can only do so many like really cool purchases per year. And if I was into Missing Link, I would lose all my money and my car. So no, Missing Link for me, I think it's really cool. I don't think the Dinobots have ever been reissued. So that'll be really cool to see. I'm sure you can expect the rest of the Dinobots and repaints of all the Dinobots. Next up is MPG Hot Rod. MPG is kind of weird. So Masterpiece ended and got replaced by MPG. No one knew if it meant Great Gatai or whatever. Who knows? But they've been doing some interesting stuff. I think Raiden, like the Train Bots, was the first MPG figure. And I really was into it because I love combiners. We've never gotten a modern Raiden. And the Train Bots individually were like 150 each or more maybe. And it was just way too expensive. By the time you got all the Train Bots to make Raiden, you were looking at over $1,000. So I was completely priced out on Raiden. I thought about it. I really thought about it. But way too expensive for me. I would love a modern Raiden, but even the final product you got after you collected all 6 Train Bots, maybe even one of the Diaclone recolors in there, it was kind of mediocre. All the reviews and all the pictures I've seen of Raiden ended up looking kind of mediocre. So MPG started off weird. We've gotten some more stuff like this weird Optimus Prime that's G1, but there's also elements of movie, elements of previous figures. So I respect that MPG is kind of doing its own thing. I know the end of Masterpiece, a lot of people were complaining that the figures were too cartoon accurate. They didn't have enough tech greebling. They were too far animation accurate, which depends what you want. Some people want fully cartoon accurate. Some people want toy accurate. Some people want a mix of both. IDW, Skybound, all kinds of stuff. So they're never going to be able to please anybody. I respect what they're doing. And from what I've seen about previous Masterpiece, like the Masterpiece Hot Rod and the Masterpiece Rodimus, I think MP Rodimus was known for breakage issues, if I remember correctly. And MP Hot Rod just kind of looked weird. And the Studio Series figure, visually, and I don't know about engineering-wise because I've never handled MP Hot Rod or Rodimus, the Studio Series figure was everything that the Masterpiece just couldn't get right. There was a lot of time in between the Studio Series and the last MP Hot Rod. The Studio Series Voyager is amazing, and we're finally getting that again soon. I talked about that in my previous video. But this picture that they posted looks just like Studio Series Hot Rod. And it really, even down to the guns, like I know they are his guns, so they're going to look the same. But it looks like so close to the Studio Series Deluxe. I know it's a blacked out photo, but it's kind of funny just seeing this. And I'm really excited to see the full color photos because I have a feeling even in full color, this thing is going to look like an upscaled Studio Series Voyager. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more than that going on, and it will have die cast and everything, but I just think that's kind of funny. On to what really excited me. So outside of Generations, like Age of the Primes, everything before that, and Studio Series, I also collect the Masterpiece movie line. Not everything, I'm not a completionist, but I do love this line. I grew up with the live action movies, and to me, this is the best we're going to get. I don't like going third party unless I have to. So to me, the Masterpiece movie figures are amazing. They're the perfect display. They all look great. Some of them are questionable, like Ironhide, but I still think it looks great on display. And movie Masterpiece kind of just ended for a while. So I think Brawl was the last movie Masterpiece or Masterpiece movie figure we got. And then after that, they stopped. We had no word. There were rumors that MPM was over. There was going to be no more. Turns out that was true, but that was only because Masterpiece was ending. So now MPM has been rebranded into MPMN, which is Movie Masterpiece New or Masterpiece Movie New. I don't know. Takara's names are kind of weird. I get the retailers probably want a new brand because they're on wave 1 million of Masterpiece. We don't want Masterpiece, give us something new, so they just rebrand it. We're finally getting Sideswipe, Revenge of the Fallen figure. They did do a Revenge of the Fallen repaint of Starscream that I love. I love his tattoos. But oddly enough, it looks like they're going to give us the Revenge of the Fallen and the Dark of the Moon at once, which has never ever happened before. They usually would do the least desirable version, or what they've done is usually the chronological version. So they do the Revenge of the Fallen, and then a year or two later they would do the Dark of the Moon. With my movie Masterpiece collection, I like to have the most recent version representation of the character. So for example, when I got the Dark of the Moon Ratchet, I got rid of my 2007 Ratchet because I really liked the green of the Dark of the Moon compared to the yellowy green of the 07 movie. So I did that, and then with Starscream, I had the 07 version. When the Revenge of the Fallen came out, I got that one, and I sold my 2007 Starscream because I think the tattoos looked so much cooler. Yes, I could have waited until the inevitable repaint, but also we don't know when that's going to happen because there's only ever been one Optimus Prime release. I'm shocked they haven't retooled that MPM Optimus Prime to give him his abs like he had in Dark of the Moon, or even some more weapons like he had in Revenge of the Fallen. So that's crazy to me. And we just got a repaint of Bumblebee last year, but it was just a repaint, a really, really good repaint. I'll give it that. But we haven't gotten the Revenge of the Fallen version with a different chest, or the Dark of the Moon version with the different chest and some more additional features. Nothing like that. So MPM doesn't do a lot of repaints. So the fact that they're going to show off a Dark of the Moon and a Revenge of the Fallen Sideswipe is crazy. And I feel like Takara is going to lose money because instead of making people buy the Revenge of the Fallen one and say they really wanted the Dark of the Moon version, they're not going to get people to double dip, which I can't believe we're seeing this in Transformers, which is known for releasing repaints and retools and getting people to buy the same figure 10 times. I'm so happy Takara is doing this because I'll likely skip the Revenge of the Fallen one and just get the Dark of the Moon version. So in Revenge of the Fallen, Sideswipe was a Chevy Corvette Stingray concept. He was a hard top, so really cool design. Obviously never made it to production. And then in 2011 in Dark of the Moon, they did a different concept, which is the Corvette Stingray convertible concept or whatever. And a lot of people think that it was just they took the roof off of the 2009 version. They did that. It also has a different hood and a spoiler on the rear. And I'm sure there are a couple more differences. I just can't think of them right now. So there are differences between the alt modes. But to me, the more interesting fact is that means the Revenge of the Fallen version of Sideswipe is going to have an interior, because if they're going to do a convertible, it would have to have the interior, like the seats, the steering wheel, at least. And that'll be really cool to see that on the hardtop version. And this will also probably mean that the Dark of the Moon one in robot mode will have less of a backpack. It might look more screen accurate than the Revenge of the Fallen one, just because of that difference. Now, it could be totally wrong, and they could be repainting it into Swerve into dark steel, into Sunstreaker, into a G1 color scheme. Who knows? But I'm just gonna assume that one will be Revenge of the Fallen, one will be Dark of the Moon, and people won't have to double dip if they want the Dark of the Moon version, or if they just want the Revenge of the Fallen version. So I think this is awesome. I'm gonna go for the Dark of the Moon version. So I hope Takara is already working to make more movie masterpiece figures, like hopefully a Jolt too. I think a Revenge of the Fallen Jolt could be really cool, and even more Decepticons too. And the final thing I want to talk about is Takara's new Legends line. So obviously there's Legends class, but Takara used to have a line called Legends or LG, and they would take the standard Hasbro figures, repaint them, and sometimes even give them new accessories, and sometimes just come out with entirely new figures on their own. Like in Titan's Return, North America got Power Master Optimus Prime. Japan, in the LG line, they took that, they retooled the chest, they released it as Jinrai, which was how the figure was released over there in the first place in Super God Master Force. And then they also developed their own figure for God Bomber that could combine with their version of Power Master Optimus Prime or Jinrai to give you Super God Jinrai, which is a really, really cool idea and something Hasbro never did. This is also how we got Great Shot, how we got Grand Maximus, Slipstream, Arachnid. Because back in the day, Takara used to always change up the paint scheme and the decos of figures compared to the North American releases. So there was like United, Henki, lines like that. And then once Power of the Prime started, Hasbro and Takara just decided to release the same figures, cut costs, make it cheaper for everybody involved. So no more special decos unless it's like special one-off stuff. Like I'm trying to think of recent examples. Beast Wars again, they took the Kingdom figures and repainted them like a year after they came out. Most recently there was been the T-Spark stuff. So some of that is entirely new, but then there's also the stuff like Lyle Convoy, where they take the North American release, retool it, repaint it, and then it's a different figure. And that's the background of this new Legends line. So this could mean a lot of things because Lyle Convoy was repainted many, many times. This could be the Copy Convoy deco. This could be Flash Lyle Convoy, the Green Lyle Convoy, Galva Convoy. Like there's so many repaints of Lyle Convoy. They could do them all. And also what's next? Hopefully this becomes its own subline, because I guess the natural thing to do would be to change Big Convoy, but I'm really hoping this is a new line similar to Takara's LG line, and it could give us some really, really cool repaints. Hasbro has been a lot more adventurous with their repaints, whether it's store exclusives or Generation Selects, but even their Generation Selects has been kind of dwindling down. So hopefully this means more cool Takara exclusives and reissues, and I hope they're at least on Hasbro Pulse, because they're going to be expensive to import if not. Also, let me know in the comments below, are you excited for any of these Takara reveals? Hopefully we get some pictures later this week. Yeah, let me know.